spook easily stung.
Have you ever explored the depths of fear? Have you ever wondered what depravity dwells within the imagination of a storyteller that prompts them to exhume horrors untold and expose those horrors to unsuspecting audiences? Some are repulsed, and some are shaken. However, there are those who are invigorated. So to those demented souls, we invite you to journey inward into the dark bowels of human imagination. Press play, and you will discover what's in the podcast.
You're not supposed to be here. You were supposed to die on that bridge. A lucky few survive the disaster. And then one by one, death comes for them all.
Are you saying that we can't stop this?
It's kill or be killed.
Nobody's safe!
Oh my god!
And welcome back to another edition of What's in the Podcast. At long last, we are finally in the home stretch to continue on our Legacies of Fear on the Final Destination series. It has been, I think this is probably the longest stretch we've ever had to wrapping up a Legacies of Fear, but circumstances, I mean, the last time we were able to do it was all the way back in, I think, May or something like that, or May or June. And then, of course, it was Pride Month, and then it was Nature Strikes Back Month, and then we were doing Horror by Proxy Month. So, and then you, on the other hand, and of course, to conclude this, I brought back Emily.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, and you yourself had a lot of craziness going on at the same time as well. You had Dragon Con, and you also had a couple other horror cons where you were a guest at some of them.
Yes,
Yeah,
last weekend and the weekend before, and we're going to keep this horror train rolling here in October and end with a very wonderful event at the end of the month with you.
Yes, right. Yeah, as we record this, the month of October is still in its infancy, so we are still getting in that Halloween goodness. But yes, much to my delight, the Saw family will reunite for Spooky Empire on Halloween. I will be attending for the weekend, but Lynn will be joining us for Saturday to reunite the family. So that excites me to no end, because you will get a chance to, this will be your first Spooky Empire. Not only that, you're doing big spooky. You're doing like the main spooky.
Oh, I'm
and
excited.
I've talked it up a good game. I just hope I didn't overhype it. So yeah, but even better. Well, actually, the cool thing will be is that when you arrive Thursday nights at the pub, I believe it's going to be at the pub again, but they usually do a Thursday night pregame get together at the pub. It is called simply the pub, and wonderful place, great food, and yes, as a pub goes, has wonderful drinks. So if we get there, we should be able to get there right on time for it.
Excellent. Once you told me
in.
that, I decided I'm going to probably bust out the Saw X wig for that night.
Well, I mean, cosplay's not necessary. It's just
no,
also,
but I knew I was gonna wear the Jigsaw jacket anyway, and I was like, well, if it's gonna be like a not really cosplay night, I want to have fun with the wig you gave me.
Okay, fair enough. So, me myself, right now, even though I am stoked that Darren Lynn Bousman's going to be there. I mean, if you want to join, I'm pretty sure you're going to jump on meeting him like first day. But if you want to join Lynn and I when we go meet him, as well, I mean, that'd be awesome.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
the guests I'm the most stoked for is Josh Rubin and Michael Kennedy. Josh Rubin, who directed Scare Me, Werewolves Within, and recently Hard Eyes. Which Josh Rubin's kind of like one of my man crushes, so I'm really, really freaking excited about that. And Michael Kennedy, amazing screenwriter who did Freaky, recently did It's a Wonderful Knife, but also wrote Hard Eyes as well. So really excited about that get. And even then, I'm pretty sure they're not done yet. They've announced like a lot of killer guests, but I know for a fact they're not done yet announcing their guests.
Excellent.
Yeah, I mean, they got Nicholas Hoult, but I know I can't afford him for shit. Yeah, especially now that he's got that Superman price tag on his his belt. Yeah. So but no Devon Sawa. Still no Devon Sawa.
Well, no matter what happens, it is a con I am excited for. I need the vacation. I need the break from everything.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully not a break, not so much of a break that you end up dying in a big horrible bridge collapse, as is the protagonist of our today the movie we're talking about today, Final Destination 5. God damn, I am so good at the segue.
Shoot.
Final Destination 5, also known as franchise redemption movie, after the lackluster uh 3D. Actually, it even did the 3D better in this one versus
Did.
its
Yeah.
previous 3D outing.
Hmm.
Final Destination 5, directed by Stephen Quayle. I believe that is his name. Hold on a second. Pulling up the IDB. Yes, Stephen Quayle, and written by Eric Heiserer. And this one, after after we did our binge, after I was doing my binge in preparation overall for the for Bloodlines and for our podcast, I felt like I walked through the Everglades, and then I finally saw a beautiful bar with the best tasting drinks at the lowest prices. That was like, yeah, that was Final Destination 5 to me. That was so many surprises for me that I did not expect, and I'm so happy. I was so
Oh yeah.
happy that if if we had not gotten another Destination movie after this, I would have been happy that the franchise ended on a strong note, at least at the time, ended on a strong note because it did. So, yeah,
Yeah,
beautiful. What about,
absolutely. And at the time, yeah, it was supposed to be the last one, but of course, as we know with these movies, they never die.
yeah, yeah,
So
I'm trying to remember.
the big gap we got there was like, that's it, that was done, and it was a nice little bow tied on it after the disaster that was four.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I mean, to kind of recap, I think the major problem I had with four is that it did nothing new. I mean, there was nothing new under the sun in terms of like building on the ideas that are being built or that are being created by this franchise. Whereas it was night and day going into five, where I mean, and at first I was like, okay, the scenario has the vision, sees the disaster, survives the disaster. Okay, we get some really cool Rube Goldberg death scenes, but then Bloodworth comes in and throws in something new into the onto the table that just made me go, holy shit, I want to see where this goes. And they actually do something with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for you, now, did you see this one when it came out in the theater?
Oh yeah, I think I saw all of them in theaters the first time.
Ah, cool. Did you see it in 3D?
No, I don't remember seeing 4 or 5 in 3D, which is probably why I was like, "Oh, why does it look like that?"
I see. It wasn't that I succumbed to the craze of 3D. I just also knew that, work went into putting it in 3D, so I might as well just like
Mhm, mhm.
enjoy it in 3D as the work they did to do post conversion. Now, if I remember correctly, both this one and the previous one were actually shot in 3D. So,
Yeah.
and that is and has always been the thing is if the movie was actually legitimately shot in 3D, the 3D is automatically going to look better because it was meant to look that way.
Mhm.
Yeah. In fact, recently, Lynn and I don't know if you know this, Regal has been doing, for the month of October, Regal Cinemas has actually been doing every day a screening of a classic horror film.
Cool.
And last Friday, they did a screening of Friday 13th Part 3 in
In
3D,
3D. Wow.
as was meant to be.
Yeah.
So we got to see Friday 13th on the big screen in 3D, just as it, well, actually better than it was when it first came out because it didn't have the red and blue 3D. It had real 3D, like
Yep.
nice, gorgeous, crisp 3D.
Yep.
And it was sublime.
Yeah. Yeah. And then on the other end of that, the reason I never saw it in 3D is because I worked at a Regal here in Arizona, which the Regals here didn't get any love. That's why they're all shut down now. And then
Uh,
we didn't have the glasses. So like we didn't have that version of the movie. And that's why I was like I never got like the better version of them.
oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that makes me sad. See, nowadays they use 3D more sparingly, so they have a sense of occasion with the 3D now. It's like not everyone feels like, oh my God, every movie has to be in 3D. It's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, the latest Nicholas Sparks movie in 3D.
Yeah, it's sort of like the 40 where they add like movement to your seat and spraying you in the face
Oh,
with water and things like that.
oh, 4DX is awesome. I don't
Yeah.
don't be knocking 4DX, man.
Oh,
I saw
I've never experienced it because I don't have one around me.
oh man, I mean, if we even had time during Spooky, I mean, if there was a good movie in 4DX playing there, I'd see if we could go to it just because I'm telling you now. Well, I did 40x of Godzilla minus one, and that was
Wow.
insane.
David would
I
be
also
all over
did,
that.
yeah, and I did Dune Part Two in
Cool.
40x, Quiet Place day one in 40x. Last Jedi, I'd still say was probably one of my favorite 40x experiences.
Very
So
cool.
it's pretty great. Now I admit, final now seeing a Final Destination movie in 40x.
Oh, I would do that all day long.
Oh man, I would love that.
Especially with how much Death loves water, which in this one and the next one, we get to
Oh
see
yeah.
Death's love for water yet again.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah. Love them that water. The water and the bad electrics. Well, the bad electrics
Gosh.
and the water combined. I think yeah, this is like the last time it happened that they
Just
use
like
it
the
that.
OSHA disaster places that are, I just, these locations, I love them because it's just like, who greenlit any of this?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it's like, come on, someone must have had to have checked. So yeah, you would have had to have a safety inspector come in on some of these places, especially one of the places portrayed here in this movie.
Mhm.
So before we get too far, go ahead and give me a synopsis for Final Destination 5.
Well, we have the same plot, different movie with some added fun effects. This one is going to take place starting with a workplace retreat, although I don't know if they said where they were going.
They did not. They was
Okay.
just as these things go, it's just a office retreat.
Yeah.
That's always a weird plot device to me because I've never actually heard of a retreat where and it's like where they bring it where they only have a select group of people.
Hmm.
And even then, it's like what company nowadays would pay for that?
Sure.
To actually go on a holiday out in like some
Yeah.
kind of retreat. That's just weird. That's weird.
Yeah.
So yeah. But I just realized I think you're pretty much done with the stuff. Yeah, it is on paper, it is relatively the same story as the
Yeah.
rest. I mean, person
Mhm.
has prophecy, or person has premonition, group survives, death death's like saying, nope.
I
And
think so. So on this
yeah,
retreat, their beginning disaster is on a bridge, much like the San Francisco or the Golden
the
Gate Bridge.
Mothman, the Mothman.
The
Yeah,
Mothman. It's a massive
yeah,
bridge that once again
yeah.
is not being regulated very well, and they're doing construction all over it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, not yeah, doing construction on it while heavy traffic is going through it. And
Yeah.
I love how they write it off. And incidentally, everybody, we are going full spoilers on this, so you have been warned.
Mhm.
But yeah, doing full maintenance with heavy traffic just rolling on through there, that
Yeah,
just
the first thing he
yeah.
sees is a massive hole in the ground right next to where they're driving, and I'm like, that can't be a normal thing that they do, is giant holes in a bridge that's being driven on.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, no, that's totally that's SOP, like textbook SOP right there. They're shaking hands with danger.
Oh yeah.
you know? Yeah, but I'm sorry, that was a deep cut. But yeah, but the one thing this one definitely has over some of the other ones, this one actually has a great cross section of characters. I actually will
Hmm.
give it this one. This one actually had, now I wouldn't say our two leads are like memorable in terms of their personality, but
Sure.
the one thing this one does have that these two characters have going for them is that they actually have a compelling arc
Hmm.
going for them, going on for them. So I suppose a good way to go through, let's just go ahead and go through the movie in chronological order. So let's talk about our two leads, our two mains, Sam and Molly, played respectively by Nicholas DeGusto and Emma Bell.
Oh yes. I believe they were recently broken up at the beginning of this movie in this
Mhm.
retreat. She broke up with him, and when he has this vision, it's the first thing on his mind is to get her to safety. So up and off the bus he goes, dragging her along. Of course, it's just like the first Final Destination. Somebody's freaking out, somebody's leaving the bus, so a group of them go after him to see what's going on, and that is our group that we are saving.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Now normally this would be like forced drama in any other poorly developed horror movie where yeah they start off like with a bad start to the relationship. And I was prepped. There were so many times I was prepped for, oh God, we're gonna have this kind of forced drama, but then they actually talk. And
Hmm.
that's the thing I like. These characters actually talk to each other.
Yeah.
They actually have like mature conversations about why their relationship's on the rocks. And at first I was like, okay, this is just going to be just again forced drama. But I was like, no, their conflict actually makes legit human sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And actually at first when she breaks up with him, I feel like their chemistry like at first didn't make sense with it because I was like, but why? Like he seems to really be like excited to see her and like the relationship seems okay. And then even after all this happens, he's like, but why? Like why did you break up with me? Like what happened? Because they didn't really
yeah,
explain it until a little ways in.
yeah. And then you find out that it's not that she wanted to, it's just she felt that it was the classic case of she's worried that she was holding him back
Mm.
because she knows deep down his true ambition is to be a chef out in, and to
Yes.
do an internship out in Paris,
Yep.
but he doesn't want to go because he doesn't want to leave her behind, and she
Yeah.
felt that she was holding him back. So she says, "I need to let you go because you need to do this." But he's like, it's a classic thing of, listen, I love you more than I love this dream,
Mhm.
and so
But at the same
that's
time, she's like, I don't want to be the reason you don't achieve your dream. So it's like on both sides, what do we do? And that's why,
mm,
like, later on when he takes the apprenticeship, like, she's happy for him because that's
yeah.
what she wants him to do.
Yeah, and then a lot of it is about whether or not she feels that she can go with him
Hmm.
to Paris as well. And at the beginning, prior to the disaster, that's like kind of like her main thing is like, can she
Yeah. I mean,
follow
that's a
him?
huge commitment. That's a huge
It
move. That's a
is.
huge everything. So I get both of their sides once it's explained.
Yeah.
But it's
And
like the tension at the beginning and the fact that he's like, well, I've got to, this disaster, she's the only one on my mind. She's the only one that matters to save. And it's like, yeah, this is a good relationship that's suffering.
yeah, and going in, and I think that's another reason why this movie works for me flat out is because death is for many people who have ever in their life survived some kind of near death experience, they always say is that it really does put, well, Saw logic, it like you survive a near death experience, you end up having a different perspective on life. I love the fact that this movie gets into that.
Hmm.
And I like how our characters aren't immediately in full, we got to survive. Why are we surviving? We just got to survive. But I like how they actually are thinking about the fact that we need to really start thinking about our life and what we can do with it while we still got it.
Right.
And I like how from that experience, Molly reevaluates her stance on the matter in terms of what she wants to do with her life. And it ends up prompting her to go, you know what, I'm going to follow you because
Hmm.
frankly, life's too fucking short. I wouldn't mind a life in Paris
Yeah.
as well. I can make it'll be difficult, but hey, how many people can say I have a life in Paris?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And that destination keeps coming up in this franchise, I noticed.
I wonder why. I wonder what's so special about Paris in the sphere of this movie.
Now,
It's
when
so
you first saw this movie, did you think anything of that?
Unfortunately, thanks to the fact that I did binge through the kill count long before I saw this,
Oh, okay.
I
You
unfortunately
knew
did know about the twist.
it.
I
Gotcha,
did know
gotcha.
about the twist, so we'll save that for the tail end. But on this bus also, there's actually a great cross section of character. The one we have to talk about because he's the best character with the best performance by an actor who, frankly, it's a crime that he's not more known. But
Mhm.
we got to talk about Peter, played by Miles
Oh
Fisher.
gosh. Yeah. That
Uh,
character. Oof.
yeah, this character goes through the range of. I
Mm.
mean, at first he's like the hot in the beginning. He's like the hot shot under the boss character. In a way, he's kind of like Judge Reinhold from Gremlins if he actually got more screen time. Um, but he actually does have his own little compelling through line where no, he's still a cool dude. He's still actually like he actually does strive to be the boss who's also your best friend because he kind of
Hmm.
is.
Hmm.
But he runs through his own emotions, but he responds to death on a different level compared to
Oh
everyone
yeah,
else.
and you can kind of see his slow mental breakdown throughout this movie to a worrying place. So very
Yeah.
interesting to see how his character degrades throughout the movie.
Yeah, and it's not just a switch. He doesn't just flip to this.
Right.
It's a gradual whittling away of his
Yep.
psyche
Which
through
starts with our first death.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Um how many times now now I don't do you watch the Olympics or do you watch gymnastics like on
Yeah, if it's on and I'm out, I'll watch it.
yeah. I admit, I'm just like there are so many times I actually got to get phantom pains when I watch them more because I'm just like going, God damn, they must have like bones made of adamantium a lot of
Oh yeah.
times because especially when they do that final dismount and I'm just like and there's always that point when they land and they're in that initial squat
Yeah, they come up.
and I'm like, did are they checking to see if their shins are like about to fly through their kneecaps? I'm like,
Yeah.
are they assessing before they do the final flourish?
Yeah,
As like,
I mean, just like any other sport too. Like I've known a gymnast, it damages them over the years. Like that is the same as
yeah,
getting tackled on the football field. Is like you're doing a lot of damage to your joints, and over the years you will start degrading if you don't take care of yourself.
yeah. That's the sad part. Now, okay, I have a weird question about the now, of course, the gymnast in question is Candace,
Hmm.
played by Ellen Rowe. Now, here's the thing I'm kind of weirded out about the relationship between Peter and Candace. Uh, is Candace still in high school?
I don't know because he calls her an intern.
Yeah, but she's doing high school gymnastics apparently as and they actually talk about her using this as a way to get to do college gymnastics, and I'm
Oh
like,
yeah. Well,
is
she might
she
be
just
18.
is like now Peter does strike me as the kind of guy who'd be robbing the cradle, but I mean, even so, that's weird to me. And
Yeah,
even then,
yeah.
is there would they have internships where you're working at a prestigious whatever the hell they do company? What the
I
hell
don't
does
know.
this company do?
It has to do with a lot of beams. There's a warehouse where there's a lot of like warehouse guys working with hard hats and a lot of
And it
sparks flying and
and there's a union, they got a
there's a
union.
union. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you guys doing? What do we do
Yeah.
here?
What do we do? I swear to God, I was like, I've never thought I'd see the horror movie version of Worldwide Wickets from How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying, where no one knows what the fuck anyone's doing.
Yeah, we're just doing business things. Just a lot of business and a lot of warehouse things.
Business, business, business. Numbers. Is this working? Yes.
It's kind of thing like that. Kind of thing. I love nondescript companies. I love how everyone talks all serious about their company, but then
Yeah.
it's like, what the fuck do you do?
Yeah.
What the
What
fuck
do
do
we
you
do
do?
here? Oh man,
Yeah,
acting is so fun.
acting, yeah. Well, and the boss, the actual boss, is played by comedy great David Koechner.
Hmm.
Yeah, who
Most
I
people know
mean,
as Packard from The Office.
really?
Mm.
Admittedly,
Dennis?
yeah, admittedly, no. See, for me, when I think David Koechner, of course, I think Anchorman. Of course, I think
Sure.
Krampus.
Oh yeah,
I
oh yeah.
mean, yeah, who's freaking great in Krampus, but he's got a long resume.
Love
He is
Krampus.
a Oh yeah, he David Koechner, he is a freaking comedy legend. I mean,
Oh
if you
yeah.
look on his resume on IMDb, that guy has a streak a mile wide, but he is one of those multifaceted talented comedian actors. And I I love the fact that they don't and the one thing I do like about him is that he knows when to dial it back, but he's just that right amount that he's still able to let to not be wasted because when you get a
Hmm.
comedy great like him in a movie, you don't want to waste him. And he's not wasted in this movie, which is
Yeah,
and even
even though
better.
this is a horror movie and not one of the funnier Final Destinations, they find a way to make his asshole of a boss character also kind of dumb. So it kind of fits with his natural way of being a comedian.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's what's the best way to describe this kind of boss character? He's not like an outward I'm an asshole for the sake of being an asshole. I think he's just the classic case of a boss that's so high up that
Mm.
when he looks down, he doesn't see the finer details. I mean, hell, after he survives the bridge disaster, one of the survivors, he accidentally misidentifies as one of the dead.
Yeah, which that to be fair, that character of Isaac.
Oh, yeah,
Oh
fucking
boy.
Isaac.
Oh boy.
Yeah, if there's any aspect of this movie that falls under Final Destination itis in terms of like asshole characters, it seems like
Needed one.
they funneled
Oh
it
God.
all into Isaac.
Yeah, just a comically cartoonish depiction of a misogynistic a-hole who
Yeah. Oh, and racist.
Oh
Racist to
yeah.
boot.
He's all the bad
Now,
things.
I mean, he's nowhere near as bad as the guy from Final Destination 4, but I mean, he's
hmm
still pretty bad. Where he's
It's like
making
he's got
Asian
inklings of him and other characters that we don't like from previous Final Destinations.
All I could say is thank God he died before the Trump elections.
Oh
I mean,
boy.
just the, yeah, he would have been insufferable around that point. But my God, oh man, no, this is a character, and I'm so happy he dies so early in the movie. And not only that, dies
I'm like, I don't
and
think I
it's
could have
like,
taken much longer of his lines at all. I'm
oh
just like,
no, but
how
but
does
even better,
anybody
he
put up with this guy?
and I know this is like, well, another big spoiler. We discovered this takes place in 2000, so this is decades before the Me Too movement. But even then, I mean, this is also the time in the 90s when they actually started were being more vocal about sexual harassment in the workplace. I am
hmm
amazed this guy still has a job.
Yeah, I was wondering that too because he even starts stealing from the deceased people at his office, and I'm like, how? And at some point when he's on the bus at the beginning during the disaster, he goes, "Oh, I'm just going on a retreat with a bunch of my idiot coworkers," and Dennis, the boss, looks over like, "Excuse me," and he's like, "Oh, not you,
Yeah,
sir." And he's like, "Let me go take this phone call more privately." I was like, "Why would you not be fired by now saying dumb crap like that around the boss?"
exactly. And even more so, well, and even more so, but again, when we find out this place is 2000, this is also the time when cell phones were still like coming into prominence around this point. So there are going to be people out there who are having these conversations, not really thinking, who are so used to the comfort zone of being on phone calls in their home. They don't stop to
hmm
think about, oh, wait, I'm amongst
Public.
people now.
Yeah.
I'm amongst people now. I'm peopling.
I'm
Shit.
peopling.
Yeah, we're peopling. But, uh, yeah. So, and then the other person there is also Olivia, who is
hmm
the obligatory sex kitten character, who, funny enough, is not doesn't have a sex scene, but she's still like selling, doing the sex thing,
hmm
doing the whole like I'm hot thing.
Yeah, I'm a badass who's dating a rock star or whatever at the beginning. And again, a lot of dynamic characters working at this office of work.
Yeah, I mean, ones who have their quirks, but the quirks aren't so because lazy writing or lazy kind of any kind of characterization is that they have a quirk and that's all they have.
hmm
And that's all there is to it. But at least the one good thing about this movie is that there's still enough of them in terms of like their depth, like their personality. Just, I mean, obviously, the thing about Olivia is that she's very clearly vain. She very, very clearly loves the way she looks. She's very clearly all about that.
Yes.
And she fixates on the one thing she considers to be imperfect in lieu of the fact that people keep telling her, no, you look good with glasses.
Vanity kills.
Vanity kills. I mean, granted, I mean, Lord knows I wouldn't mind to be rid of these damn things. I mean, but you know, even so, I don't think I look bad with them.
No. Would you go under
I
a
don't know.
laser for it?
Oh, absolutely, I would
Yeah.
because I've heard nothing but great things about
Yeah.
getting LASIK done. I actually hear nothing but like everyone says in reality, from what I've understood, is that under the bright supervision, like and seldom I have ever heard of an incident like this taking but again, this is Final Destination.
Sure.
I've never heard of a incident taking place that ever got as severe as this. Like apparently it's done in a way that from what I understand, the most you feel is just some pressure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
I
that's
saw my dad's procedure when I was a kid, and it was minor. And he said, "Oh, yeah, you don't need it doesn't hurt or anything, and you're numbed up anyway. So yeah, all you see is pressure and light, and so
Yeah, and
it's
yeah, so if I could figure if I found out my insurance covered it, man, I'd be on it so fast, man. I'd love to do it. I'd love to
yeah.
do it. Yeah, I mean, hell, I'd love to get glaucoma just so I can, get a prescription for some weed, but
Ha ha ha.
ah, yeah, oh, yeah. Oh, come on. Nowadays, that's the only, in Florida, I always joke with people. I always say like, yeah, or when people like, oh, you want to go to a dispensary? Oh, yeah, I should probably grab it during the 1 week it's legal before the next vote.
Oh, really? Is that a thing in Florida?
It fluctuates. Like
Gotcha.
what like every couple of years it's illegal, then all of a sudden we vote again and it's legal again. It's like it's unpredictable.
Interesting. Okay.
It's unpredictable kind of thing. But yeah, actually Olivia's death in this one is the one that has all the classic Final Destination quirks, especially the water shorting out the
hmm
electrics,
hmm
the irresponsible doctor leaving the room.
Some device getting way too hot and way too dangerous way too fast, and somehow somebody designed it to do that.
Yeah. But also beautifully in true Final Destination fashion, she doesn't die the way you expect her to
True.
die.
Hmm. Which, I
Exactly.
mean, they kind of did that a little bit in the gymnast performance as well. There were like four things going on in this gym all around her, and you were like, what's it going to be? What's it going to be? She's
Oh
very
yeah.
dangerously close to this screw on the balance beam right in front of her, and she's just kind of dancing around it. And then like the dripping water, and there's electric cords that are just open to the atmosphere, and it's like, what is happening? And then she dies in a way you just don't completely ever see it coming.
Oh my God, yeah. It
Oh God.
if we had to do a final ranking of like all the deaths, like of the top five, actually foreshadowing for our final episode.
Oh
But
man.
yeah, but if we had to, I mean, for reasons that we'll get into obviously later on, but I will say this is probably the most low key yet high concept death in there, where it's like the death is so simple,
Hmm.
but yet the buildup is so epic and it's so
Hmm.
grand, and there's such a great sense of uh dread because of all the things that are going to that well, because like you said, you have no idea what exactly all this is going to amount to.
Right. That's classic Final Destination, though, is like you get so nervous and you're like, oh, no, 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 no. Okay, never mind. It's fine. Oh, no, no, but wait, wait, wait. No, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's
No,
oh,
no, it's not.
whoa, what happened? Like, yeah, that's it's done very well in this movie.
Oh yeah, extreme. And then just when you get to that final, ah,
Hmm.
and even I mean, I'm like, well, best case scenario, she might just be paralyzed for life, and her life's
Oh no, you can see
ambitions will
her
be just
spine. You can see her
yeah,
spine popping out of her back, and that God, those effects are so wonderfully done.
yeah. Apparently, to do that effect, a lot of it was post-production trickery, where they had the actress kind of laying face down with wearing green screen material from the waist down, and then they had the stunt woman kind of staying the other way with the green screen material on her upper body.
Oh,
And then they just in post
so
kind of
just
like combine
legs
them together.
being around. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And then they of
Interesting.
course use some and I think they either use some CGI assist, or I think they probably also had a dummy kind of in its place to
Sure.
kind of like help cap it all cut it all together to
Hmm.
make it look like one complete whole. That's actually similar to the death of another character on the bridge during the premonition. Nathan, played by Arlen Escarpeta. In order he during the premonition he's running, but then he gets wrecking balled by a hook.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to do that effect, it was just a simple case of him standing there, and he gets yanked off camera by the harness.
Oh,
But then they had a
cool.
full dummy mock-up of him that actually did get clocked with the hook.
Hmm.
So
That's
they actually
cool.
used yeah, so they used practical but post-production trickery in order to pull off that effect, and it was
Very,
great.
very nice.
Actually, let's go ahead and talk about just that whole set piece of the bridge.
Yeah, absolutely.
At yeah, I mean that one almost that was like a video game practically.
Yeah, it reminded me of like going to Universal Studios for the subway ride.
Oh,
Like
the
it's
earthquake. Yeah.
yeah, the earthquake. Yeah, just disaster everywhere, and it's just like, dude, I would kill to be on a set like that, where it's just like run
Or
from here to here, and the world's gonna fall apart around you, and try not to get hit by anything. Like, I
or
love
or
it.
or you mean like the attraction that you and I came up with,
Yeah,
for
yes.
yes, which we still need we need
Where are
to
my
find.
royalties, Universal or
Yeah, no, no,
whoever?
no. We need to find an Imagineer to
New
get
Line.
that shit happening.
Come on,
You
New
know,
Line,
no,
make a theme park and put a Final Destination in it.
I have been saying for years, New Line has enough going on under their catalog that they should. But I'm like, God damn, get us an Imagineer so we could pitch this idea to them. They would lose their shit. It'd be
Oh
amazing.
yeah. Great
Awesome.
idea.
It is a great idea. But yeah, but to me, it's just the progression of just well, I mean, recently, Spider-Man Miles Morales had a big old set piece on a crumbling bridge, and I
Hmm.
kept thinking of this sequence there because it's such a great the whole thing where it's like these people are running, but it's like the bridge is falling apart, and so it's almost like a minefield. You don't know what's going to break out from underneath you,
Yeah,
and then and it,
the bridge set is just there's so much that can go wrong on this thing, like snapping cables and just like cracks turning into holes in the ground and then just like railings just bending in a way as the road falls beneath you. Like the place looks like it's made of paper mache by the end of it.
yeah.
You could get killed by any, and then construction happening as well. So there's vehicles and hot tar as we see Dennis get maimed by hot tar, and you never saw that coming.
Yeah.
Like, oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Part of the reason I know a lot of actors do movies like this is so they can get a chance to do effects like that. And I know that
Hell
was a
yeah.
major thing with David Koechner is that because he
Hmm.
actually gets two really great prosthetics, like for both of his deaths, basically,
Yeah.
for the hot tar, and then later on when he gets a full-blown wrench in his face. I'm like,
Yes.
both amazing prosthetics. But the other thing about this opening sequence is that there's such great moments of not just like quick tension or like quick, like, oh my God, this is happening. But there's great moments of like lingering tension,
Hmm.
especially where Molly is like trying to balance to make her way
Walking
across.
across the beam, and then
Yeah.
Olivia having to do that while basically blind because she loses her
Yeah.
glasses
Oh,
during
she
this
get oh
scene. And I was like,
yeah, she
there's no
gets
way two of you are going to make it across that beam.
oh yeah, actually that's one thing I gotta say about Olivia, just when she comes in the glasses. I'm like, you basically look like you basically look like Velma Dinkley on DeviantArt.
Yeah. I, yeah.
That is she
Absolutely, yeah.
like actually for a minute there when I saw her come up in the glass, I'm like going, is that actually Linda Cardellini? Oh no, it's just someone who looks a lot like her.
Ah.
Because let's face it, a lot of us fell in love with Linda Cardellini when she was wearing that cat suit in Scooby-Doo. Yeah. But we have to admit it, otherwise we will never heal. So it's like, come on.
And you
We
have
have
to admit it on a live podcast.
we have to admit it. We have to admit that when Crystal Lake comes out and we see her as Pamela Voorhees, we're all just going to have to admit we're attracted to Pamela Voorhees now.
All right,
You
fine.
know, we're just going to have to because it's Linda Cardellini. That's all there is to it. but surely enough, in the midst of this premonition sequence, Olivia does have the Velma moment where she loses her
My
glasses.
glasses! I can't see a thing without my glasses. Which it shows like a blurry moment of like what it's like to look through her eyes, and I'm like, I could still see.
I could.
She's not that blind.
I'm nearsighted. I mean, I'm looking around and stuff so blurry. I'm pretty sure I could still make my way around. But that just
You want to
says
go on a
like
balancing
how.
beam and say that?
Yes,
Yeah.
actually, I would.
They did have a railing right next to him, and I was like, I would have been clinging to that railing that they were walking across. Like they were just kind of touching it a little bit. I'm like, grab it. Grab that
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, and unlike Final Destination 4, a lot of the deaths in this one I actually am sad that I couldn't see in 3D because there were some good ones here where I was like going, oh man, this would have looked cool in 3D. I mean, of course,
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, Candace, falls and she gets impaled by the sail on a
Oh
impaled by
yeah, intestines and
impale
all.
on a sail on a sloop. Impale on a sail. I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. But so we got that going on. But Peter, when he dies, man, he gets like rebar jutting through his face, and
Which, yeah,
you think it's CGI, but no, that was a prosthetic.
that's great. And I love that.
Yeah.
And they
Oh
they
yeah.
bring up the rebar death in plenty of other Final Destinations, from like the opening sequence to even our next sequel. They'll bring it back over and over again because that was a really, like, it goes through his eye and you just see his eye kind of in the wrong place, not hanging or anything,
Yeah.
but it's suddenly in the wrong place. And I'm like, oh no.
And it's in your face in the
Yeah.
camera and I love that. And yeah, you could say like just being garish 3D, but here I'm going like, yeah, but here's the thing. We're also this is to me, this was a POV shot. This was Sam's POV.
Hmm.
He's watching his friend die in front of his very face, and this is what it looks like.
Hmm.
And I'm like, that's freaking horrifying.
Oh yeah.
That's just horrifying to think about. And even Sam himself, when he dies, he gets the
Yeah,
omen.
immediately right afterwards, the same menacing truck drops a sheet of metal right through him.
Yeah, just nice omen style slice through. And but the one thing that's important about this, the one major plot element that does come into play that
Hmm.
and I think and again, I love the way this one is filmed and the way it's executed because you don't think about it at the moment, but then you realize, oh shit, Molly actually survived.
If we're assuming that she didn't die after Sam died, yes, and that is what they say, is that she did
Well,
survive the premonition.
when you think about it, I mean, when you think about it, if she had survived and Sam had died and and no premonition, nothing like that, her life probably would have gone on a heck of a lot longer because it was through Sam's insistence that they go to Paris.
Yeah. Yep, that's true.
So
That's true. But she would have been very traumatized after that event.
Probably would have been trauma. Well, especially, oh man, what a mind fuck is that? Is that you broke up with him and then he dies in front of your very
Right in front of
eyes?
you, like reaching for your hand, like grab my hand.
Now, if it was a bad breakup, if it was like a oh good riddance to bad rubbish breakup, then I'm sure she would be fine. But no, this was no, I legitimately love this person and I thought I
And he was
was
trying to save her the whole time.
yeah. Oh
So that would
Jesus.
have been a mind fuck for sure.
Just about. Just about. Oh, baby. Such a great opening. Such a great opening sequence.
Yes.
So, yeah. But back to Peter though. Yeah, the death of yeah, the death of poor Candace. That's where you really do kind of see his just downward spiral where he just and I love that it's not a light switch. You just see his gradual
Oh
decline.
yeah. It starts out with him being at the office. He brought a bottle of booze and he's like, I'll just drink alone if I don't drink with you guys. And it's just like, okay, he's depressed. He just lost his girlfriend, if you want to call her that,
Oh yeah,
situation,
it was
ship,
a
whatever
girlfriend.
she
No,
was.
he was crazy about her.
Yeah.
No, it
And he
was
was there
it
supporting her, and I'm sure he said he's like, it was my fault because he was the one who pushed her to do the routine. She wasn't feeling well. She was like, I'm not over this trauma that we were just through. But it
yeah.
was the last practice of the season, and he's like, "You got this." And he was being supportive and he was being caring,
Yeah.
but he
And
blamed himself for it, even though there's nothing he could have done about that situation.
that's the thing about this movie. And again, going with all the themes of the Final Destination series, there are people who, yeah, after surviving would recoil and become like reclusive.
Yeah.
Honestly, they were doing the healthy thing of, yeah, we survived this, but that's all the more reason why we need to just keep pressing on, do the things that we want to do for the sake of embracing life as much as possible.
Yeah.
So it's like I would have been right next to Peter, encouraging her, like
Yeah.
saying, yeah, do this. And
Yeah.
it's legitimately sad. That's why I think Peter was the best character in the movie, just by virtue of the fact that he had just this air of tragedy about him.
Yeah.
And it's like you see what he turns into later on, and you know it
Hmm.
came about because of a place of love. The fact that he's not a if he was a horrible douchebag character, I would feel nothing. But the fact that he in the beginning is actually a good friend,
Yeah.
the fact that he actually that what you think is just a trivial role in the hay is like, no, he legitimately loved Candace. And that this is actually tearing him apart. And now he's faced with the reality that he's next, that he's on death's list.
Yeah,
It's like
once
that's
they
a
realize what's going on, which I did note that in this one, I feel like Tony Todd's character speaks as clearly as he's ever spoken, with no riddles, no like vague wording. He's just trying to tell him what's going on. He's like,
yeah.
this is what happened. This is how you can stop it. Bye.
My
Like,
my
oh,
other
okay.
favorite I think my other favorite thing about Tony Todd in this particular movie is that it's never just him stalking anybody. That's why
No.
it is just sheer coincidence that he's always there on the scene.
Well,
And I
he's the
love that
coroner
there's
in
like
this one. They're like, "Why are you stalking us?" He's like, "I'm just doing my job."
doing my job. And he
Like,
actually and I love
the
the camera
coroner.
reveal. You know, he reveals coroner. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, we know he's a coroner.
Yeah.
But it's like it's hilarious how these people think he's like stalking him, like he's,
Because
you know,
he's got an eerie air about him, and the way he
yeah,
speaks is a little unsettling. And it's like,
yeah.
no, he's actually here. He's gonna give you some helpful advice in this one.
Or as Jordan Peele would say, like, following you like the magical Negro character is like, no,
Yes.
he's just the coroner.
Not that at all. Yeah, he's just
Not
doing
that at
his
all.
job, and he's seen
Yeah.
this a lot by now. He's seen it. Well, actually, I guess technically, well, he's seen it a
Oh
lot
no,
by
no,
now.
he's seen it.
He's
No,
seen it
no,
a
he
lot by now.
no
Yeah.
knowing what we now know, knowing what we now know, yeah, he's seen it a lot.
Yeah. I
But
forgot that
again,
like the timeline of where everything was all of a sudden. I was like, wait, is it the first movie? No, it's not. It's not okay. It's not really the first movie. Got
yeah,
it.
exactly. But I even like again, really do have to give to Eric Heiser. His script on this one is so great when it comes to conveying ideas, but it doesn't feel forced at all. So I love the way um, I love the way he delivers that Bloodworth delivers this thing where he's not directly saying that you need to kill somebody. I like the way he just says it, where it's like you take a life, and
Mhm.
like I like the fact he's not actually encouraging people to kill. He's just like this is just the way death operates, where it's like he cuts off lives because it's their time. So logically, if it's not your time,
Yeah.
and this was the thing that sealed the deal for me about this movie, as far as me loving this movie, was because again, if you're going to do a sequel and if you're going to do the ideas, you got to come up with something new. This one was a wallop. This was a doozy of an idea that had not been explored up to this point, but was done really well here. The whole idea of stealing life
Yeah.
by killing someone else. The
Yeah.
second that idea is thrown on the table, and by this point you're seeing Peter's decline in sanity. I was immediately going, I am in love with this movie. I love the fact that we're doing this, and the fact that it's very clear with the character of Peter. I love the fact that we are actually going to do something with us with
Yeah,
this
I'm
movie.
glad they expanded on it because they did touch on it in 3 when McKinley kind of tries to go after um
Yeah,
and he pulls a gun, but then it just doesn't work. He ends up dying instead, and it's like, okay, but why don't we expand on that idea? What if somebody wants to take a life of not somebody on death's list, but somebody outside of it? And that's how you can
precisely.
fix it. Because
And there's
at some point, Peter does he's in a situation where he could kill Sam, but that wouldn't help him. And he says that. He's like, he's already dead. He's already on death's list, so that's not going to help me. I have to kill, somebody not on the list.
Yeah, and I love that there's a whole montage of him. Well, not a montage, just him, a scene where he's just standing on the street and he's just looking around at people, just looking at random people like
Yeah.
around every corner, and he's like, who can I kill? Who can I
Yeah.
kill?
And he came
And
to the conclusion that they don't deserve to die. But then
as far
also,
as yeah, and I
Candace
love
didn't
how
deserve to
his
die.
yeah, in his mind, yeah, he says Candace didn't deserve to die. So, but I love by that flawed logic, he thinks Molly deserves to die
Yeah.
because
Because she
well, it's like,
wasn't killed in the premonition. It's like, well, nobody deserves to die in this situation. Why
yeah,
are you targeting Molly? Just because she's
exactly,
not
yeah,
feeling the same stress we all are.
exactly. Well, and this is great writing when it comes to showing the decline of a person's sanity is the fact that they are going to use whatever warped ass logic they can in order to justify uh doing something that obviously they're not stoked to do, but they need to do something in order to help them just come to terms with the fact that they're about to do something really fucking dark.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just really fucking dark and dire. And this is, I think, in the scheme of the entire franchise, it's the most low-key finale compared to the rest when you think about it.
What
I mean,
they,
yeah,
what the, yeah.
you break it down. I mean, the first one, of course, had Clear River's house like just practically like falling apart and exploding. I mean, the
Hmm.
second one had just the big old thing at the hospital leading up to Kim nearly killing herself.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. The third movie had the big showdown at the big fireworks party on Fourth of
Hmm.
July. I mean, even the fourth one
Fourth one,
for
even though it was like another premonition, like with the escalator scene in the movie theater, it was still a lot of like pyrotechnics and a lot of like,
yeah,
explosions and flashes of light. But you're
yeah, it was
right. This
still
was this was legit. Like if you had taken the scene of Peter attacking Molly out of context, it could have possibly not even been a Final Destination movie.
exactly. Death, that's the funny thing about that finale. Death very doesn't actually play a lot.
Hmm.
It doesn't actually have much play in that finale. I think Death was just waiting to see how that shit played out.
Yeah, yeah. Which
Yeah.
I mean, he ends up taking out the cop, which I was gonna mention earlier. Like this is probably one of the few times I think, especially in a Final Destination, where the cop is actually trying to see it from their point of view. He's not an asshole
Yeah.
who's just blamed. Like at first, he's like weirdly blaming them for the bridge collapse, which I'm sorry, how could they have fucking
Yeah.
done
Having
that?
you
But it's
yeah.
the same
But
setup as one where he was like, you knew this was going to happen. You had to have had something to do with it. And he's like, no, I legit just saw this vision and then it fucking happened. And then after 3 deaths, he's like, talk to me. What's going on? Like, he's not an
yeah.
asshole. He actually wants to know what's happening, even though he can't fathom it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it comes from the fact that he sees the circumstance. He's like, okay, it obviously can't be Sam because he wasn't there when sorry, it's bad when Candace dies.
And then when Olivia
He
dies, he's like, 6 things had to go wrong with this device for this to happen. And I know you guys didn't do it, but what's happening?
the
Like,
thing. But
how are you doing this?
even another fun bit of thing, the blame, actually the suspicion ends up shifting away from Sam onto Peter,
Yeah.
which is good because
Which partially that's Dennis's fault for calling him over and over saying, "Hey, Peter's acting a little erratic at work. What should we do about it?" Like, Yeah, that's true.
Uh,
You should be a little
but
concerned about the guy who just said like take a life, like a life for a life or
kill or
whatever
be
he
killed.
said.
He says
Kill or
kill or
be
be, yeah, he
killed.
said,
And I was like, you probably
yeah.
shouldn't have said it like that, but thanks.
Oh yeah. Actually, I don't, that's the other thing. I don't blame Dennis at all.
No.
He is actually doing a responsible boss thing.
Yeah.
Because that's actually what a boss should do whenever a employee is very vocal
Hmm.
about making physical threats. He's actually like saying, I'm going to kill somebody. This boss is that that's the great thing about this movie is like the characters aren't like cookie cutter archetypes. These characters
Sure.
are actually doing things that people actually justifiably would do. I actually like the fact he's a boss. Yeah, he's a prick, but he's also someone who legitimately has concern when someone's expressing the interest in killing someone.
Hmm.
So I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
I can't begrudge that logic at all. I mean, actually, one character I actually feel bad we're ignoring here is Nathan because he himself has his own little
Yeah.
dramas at all as well because he's got his whole thing with this bastard of a coworker, Roy.
This asshole warehouse worker. I was just going to mention because Roy's death, as well as the police officers, it kind of showed them, like it demonstrated to them that, like, yeah, if you kill somebody, you could take their place, or this thing that Bloodsworth said works. But both those deaths were kind of accidents.
Hmm.
Even though he kind of admits when pushed, yeah, maybe I did like push him in the way of the hook and it killed him. Like, I don't think he meant to do that. He was trying to get him to move out
Yeah.
of the way.
Well, at first, yeah, actually, again, great staging on that sequence because yeah, at first, you're watching Nathan try to push him out of the way, but unfortunately, that ass Roy's like thinking
Doesn't listen to a thing he says because he's this
well,
boss of the warehouse and he doesn't like that he's some college kid who's telling him what to do all the time. And it's like, dude, just listen to me. I'm trying to save you.
yeah, well, God, that this opens a can of worms just thinking about that whole concept of the pissed off worker who's mad that someone younger than him gets a managerial position, and it's like I'm noticing everyone but him is actually seems to be pretty cool with him. It actually seems
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah, he was the only problematic guy.
Yeah, and I noticed that whenever Nathan came onto the scene, other people are goading Roy, like going, "Oh, see, here comes the boss,"
You're
and
in
I think they're
trouble
doing that just to
now.
piss off because
Yeah.
everyone actually openly says Roy was an asshole.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but I think they say like, "Oh no, we have to be nice to him because he's the union. He's like the union lead."
Yeah, he
Or
was like, if I fire him, there'll be a ton of more Roys here, and I can't handle that. So he was like, well, I'll get on his good side. And I was like, I don't know if you ever tried to get on his good side here.
oh,
But,
I don't actually. I believe he just there's no way he could. I
right,
don't think
it
he.
didn't
I think
seem
he
like
knew deep
it.
down there was no way he could.
Hmm.
And just based on the way the guy described is like, yeah, you cut my hours, tell that to my kid, which or actually no, tell that to my bookie, tell it to my kid, tell it to my
Yeah.
wife's alimony, and I'm like going, okay, that just put all the pieces together of how this guy's wired. This guy prioritizes gambling, and very clearly that prioritizing gambling put him at odds with his wife.
Hmm.
Probably got the kid in the divorce. Probably didn't want the kid in the divorce, but because he was probably employed, he got the kid.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that speaks volumes about this dude.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's only in a few scenes, but you learn a lot about Roy in a few scenes,
Yeah.
which is
Oh yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Freaking nuts. Freaking nuts that you know so much about him. But yeah, he ends up dying pseudo by accident, pseudo deliberate, which
Hmm.
which actually we just and unfortunately, because Dennis ends up getting killed shortly afterwards, it proves to Peter that the theory of kill to gain their life ends up actually working because Peter was actually supposed to be next
Hmm.
to die. I think he was supposed to be next on the list to die after Nathan.
Was it Nathan? I thought it was Dennis. That's why he immediately dies.
Well, he was supposed to die after Nathan.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was supposed to die after Nathan, but then yeah, but I remember Peter. He was supposed to die like sometime short. Well, yeah, I think he dies after Dennis does.
Yeah, yeah. So like because they were like, "Oh,
Yeah.
they saw the hook," and he was like, "Did you do it on purpose?" And he was like, "Yeah, I guess I did." And he goes, "Who's next?" And then immediately, because Death has great comedic timing, immediately a wrench gets slammed right into Dennis's face, and they were like, "Dennis, it was Dennis!" Like, okay, great, now it's Peter.
Yeah,
Like, cool,
so good.
rapid fire that death because all these Final Destinations have to have one character where it's like rapid fire because it's just
Yeah.
shocking. It's just like, okay, we just saw a death. We get to calm down, and nope, we don't get to calm down. That was another death right there. Like, it's just such a surprise usually.
Oh yeah, Yeah, as and I think that, and I think it's because the people behind this one are savvy to what we expect of Final Destination, especially since we've already had
Mhm.
a couple of Rube Goldberg deaths
Yeah,
leading up to this. I
yeah,
always love it when the franchise will do a low key, just oh, this death just happened,
yeah.
no big setup to it, or what we don't realize the setup, and then just oh, it just happens because it's like
Yeah,
oh
I mean
shit,
they've been doing that since one with the shrapnel on the railroad track just
yeah,
slicing off his head. I was just like, okay, there's gonna be like quick deaths every now and then, and there's so many characters they got to get through them somehow. But it's like I like that they mix and mingle the really long Rube Goldberg setups where you don't know what's gonna happen, and that could take like 8 minutes, and then somebody could just die in like 30 seconds too.
yeah, and it's I think this, and the other thing about this one, which I really dig, is that this one also still, and it's a very lean film. It actually is it's a average length, but it's just lean in the way that it actually still is able to find the time to
Hmm.
um, talk about the way these characters are responding to this problem that they're dealing with. But I love this whole montage. Actually, afterwards, you have Sam at the restaurant. Actually, I probably for
God.
the first time in his entire life, actually looking at his kitchen.
Yeah,
And
and noticing how crowded and dangerous that kitchen was, my God.
it's like, well, I know this movie was filmed in Canada. Now, I don't know if have
Crowded.
you ever seen the PSA?
I've got this amazing fiance who I won't be marrying this weekend because I'm about to be in a terrible accident. But really, I should have cleaned up the grease over there, and they should never put the deep fryer so close.
It is
Yeah.
one of the most fucked up. If right next to Canada's, what's at a baby shower? What's this? It's a rape whistle. It's like that's that's how hardcore Canada gets with their PSAs.
Yeah. Europe as well has some crazy PSAs
Oh
involving
yeah.
dead children. Lots of dead children in those PSAs.
Oh yeah. No, man, they go nuts, man. And man, America keeps saying that they have the biggest balls because it's like no. Other
You haven't
countries, they
seen
kill
those
kids to prove their
PSAs,
point.
man. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Right there. But that to me, when I was watching it, and because I know that this one was filmed in Canada as well, my brain just kept going to that PSA. During this whole
Yeah.
montage, it was Sam was looking through the restaurant.
Gosh. That restaurant was comedically crowded and had like everybody was doing something dangerous, whether it was like carrying around spikes or playing with fire, or it was just, oh man, like, and then he was grinding some meat and
Yeah.
it got jammed. So he unplugs one of two devices. I don't know why you wouldn't do both. He unplugs one, starts fiddling with it, starts moving again, and he's like, "Whoa!" Unplug that other device. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's like the hand
What
in
the
the
hell?
in the garbage disposal trick. Like every horror movie
Oh
loves to
God,
loves
yeah.
to mess with danger in the kitchen.
Oh yeah. Again, shake hands of danger.
Yeah.
Hands
But
of
that whole
danger.
time you're like, he's not next. So he's just paranoid. And I would be too, even if I wasn't next, like, this is a dangerous kitchen.
Yeah, that leads to the fun thing about overall the fun thing about the Final Destination is that the characters are obsessed with finding a pattern to death.
Who's
But I
next?
love that we have the sequence where, yeah, like you said, he knows that he's not next on the list,
And yet.
but but he deep down knows that we're just trying to give a pattern to death in order to help us cope. But in the end, you still truly can't predict what's going on in Death's brain
Mhm.
even in the workplace, anything like that, like crazy shit like that could happen. So it's like I love the fact that they're taking the time to realize, yeah, we're just trying to come up with some form of way to cope to help me just get through a work day,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
like right here. So, but then of course that leads to him finally coming to the. But I love that even with this, I like how he still is. Sam still comes to the decision. Is like, listen, death may get us the next day. But if I die tomorrow, at least I want to die knowing that I made a decision. Like I actually like I actually intended to have a positive impact on my life. And he
Hmm.
actually decides to take the internship in Paris.
Right.
Yeah, which I loved. I was like, you know what? That's exactly the perfect healthy attitude. Sure, yeah, you may not make it to Paris, but at least you knew that you were on the road to actually like making your life worth something.
Yeah.
And even better is that he reconciles with Molly, where she ends up. It's just
Yeah.
and
He's trying to improve his life and not downward spiral like Peter is as he shows up with a gun.
oh yeah, where I don't care where he got the gun. It leads to a great finale. I don't care. But yeah, Peter ends up killing Agent Block and gets his time, but then Sam kills him and gets his time.
Yeah, he says, I guess I get Block's time then. So I was like, okay,
Yeah.
so because he killed Block and then you killed him, I guess, sure.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Well,
Yeah.
I think that would be like reverse Death Note logic, I
Mm-hmm.
suppose, would be. It's like or actually it's like a Shinigami law rule where um the main reason Shinigami kill people with the Death Notes is to take what time they had left, or or kind of thing like that. I think that been a while, but I believe that was like the major thing, is that they know when everyone's going to die, so they kill them with the Death Note and take whatever time they have. Or
Which is funny.
actually,
It's funny that they do bring up the whole, not only do you get to live, does death skip you? You take the time they had left and that'll come into play later.
yeah. Well, actually, yeah. That's now I'm remembering. Yeah, that's how Bloodworth rationalized it. It's the idea of uh someone paying your dues to death.
Hmm.
Like basically, if you don't pay your dues, someone has to pay in your place.
Right.
And it's an idea. Well, death will obviously
Come for
cover someone.
everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you can make up for you still being around with somebody else, you can have what they were gonna do.
Yeah. Okay, actually it's a Weeping Angel logic. That's what it is. It's Weeping
Oh,
Angel logic. That's how it is. But the one problem with this caveat is that, yeah, you take their time, but there's the big question of how much time did they have left?
which we will discover with the last character standing here. Um,
Oh yeah.
which
Yeah,
is
well,
Death loves to wrap shit up. I love it. All the final destinations, it's like perfect. Wrap it up with a nice little bow. Everybody's dead. I'm happy again.
oh man. And it does pain me. I do hate that the ending was spoiled for me, because man, I'm sure I would have lost my shit.
It was incredible. I remember that was the most like rememberable thing about seeing it in theaters the first time. I was just like, you gotta be kidding. Yes! Yes! Because the whole time you're like, why are we hearing about Paris again? That's interesting. Like, they just love Paris in this whole franchise. They bring it up over and over and over again. And then you
Yeah.
realize that the last
And
two
and even
survivors are going on a
yeah.
very familiar flight.
Well, yeah, well, and in that moment you realize they're on flight 180, but even better is that you don't question why they're going to Paris, because he's
No,
going there to be an internship as a chef,
sure.
and where better to take up an internship to be a prominent chef than pretty much the place that practically refined the culinary arts. You don't think about that.
No,
You don't think
especially
about
because
that
his head
coincidence.
chef was French as well. So it's like, well, that's where he's from. So he's just
Exactly.
going
The
to Paris with
context
him.
the context makes so much sense that you don't really think about the coincidence. You just think about it makes perfect sense. You don't, and even better, unlike Jigsaw, where they had to use some time-bending things in order to like play with your brain as to what the time is, this one is so subtle.
Oh, God.
There is nothing
Love
at
it.
all. There's literally only one thing that dates this entire movie, and that's when Isaac fishes out the gift card for
Cell
the
phone.
spa
Oh,
for the
yeah.
spa. And if you
Oh,
look
yeah.
on it, the
Oh,
expiration date says it expires in June of 2001.
that's great. I didn't even notice that. That's awesome, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
eagle-eyed
yeah.
people will notice that. Be like, wait, what year is it?
It is so subtle, and it's so good. It's it it's that thing where people can't complain. It's like, well, where is this? Where did all this come from? It's like it was there. You just had to look really, really hard for it.
Absolutely.
So and even better, you just realize, normally if this was like when the day the movie came out, people would be like, why aren't you getting on your cell phone and calling them? It's like, oh, wait a minute, it's because not everyone has cell phones
Oh, so you
around.
see Isaac's like ancient flip phone, and you're just like, that's a little bit of a dated phone. It's about 10 years old, I think. But it's
Precisely.
it's it was that era of phones where like especially now I'm like, can you look at a phone and be like that's from 2000 versus 2011? I don't think I could identify that kind of specific flip phone. So I'm like, I I would see this movie today and be like, I couldn't tell you that was from 2000.
Oh yeah. No, it's like one thing I know that would definitely date a movie in terms of cell phones. If it was set in the 90s and if they had those ugly ass block phones with
Mm.
the little mouthpiece that like flipped out like a mailbox flag, I was like,
Yeah.
what
Little antenna.
what what little bastard, what person would get that phone because it looks cool? I was like,
Yeah.
no, no. Cell phones didn't start looking cool until the invention of the Razor phone.
True. Yeah,
Because that
that
thing
was that
that
was the first flip phone that I was like, it's sleek, it's thin, fits in your
well
pocket.
it looks like it, well, people loved it because it looked like a Star Trek comp.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
that's why they loved it. That's why.
Mhm.
It looks space phone. It looked like a space phone. So kind of thing. But these are the little subtleties that this movie did, which frankly Jigsaw failed to do in order to con you into thinking it would to not realizing that you were in the
Yeah.
past. It was so oh
Yeah, a lot of
and
flat screen TVs in the past, I guess.
yeah, and even better is that if you're savvy, look, I would imagine you immediately knew the game when you see Alex and all them getting pulled away on the I would love to have been next to you just to see your reaction to just seeing that when they're being pulled on the
Yeah, I mean,
plane.
I think my thing about that scene, and I know I mentioned it in our last podcast about it, was I was like, Saw doesn't ever uh look away from gore. So that seemed odd to me. I was like, why are we looking away from his supposed death? That seems strange.
Yeah. Well, yeah. In this case, yeah, in the case of Final Destination, just when you see them being pulled away,
Oh yeah. Oh my
yeah,
God.
I was,
That
I
yeah.
guess, yeah, that
That
was
was
that
that was an
I,
incredible scene just because I was like one's the one back then that I was like, it's been a long time since I saw one, but I saw one in the very same theater. And I was like, yeah, just I was trying to remember if in one you saw characters that look like them getting sucked out of the wall like they did.
yeah. Well, apparently, though they claim, though it's been like a good 10 years between the first and this one. They claim that they tried to get as many of the extras from the first movie as possible in order
Cool.
to recreate. They claim.
Yeah.
And they even claim that they got Kara Smith and they claim they got Devon Sawa, which
It
I
looks like
doubt.
it's just the picture of or the video
Yeah,
that's imposed over what he's watching. It doesn't look like they recreated the scene.
I'm willing to agree. I agree. I think it
That's
was just strictly post
why it was
production, but
perfect.
even so, just the sight, just to know that they're on the same flight, that is such a kick in the nuts.
Yeah.
And even better is that the movie draws it out too,
Yeah, yeah, and I think even when I was a kid, I was like, "Wait, we're going on another plane? That seems oddly familiar. Like, why would they do another plane scene? Because the movie's not over yet. They're not going to wrap it up all happy, and Final Destination doesn't do that. So I was like, we're on another plane. And you see the ticket, and you're like, oh, we're going to Paris.
yeah. But even then, and yeah, it's like a long time, and even then, they still aren't 100% until they overhear someone saying, the stewardess saying, "Oh, is it? He made this claim that the plane was going to explode. He had a freak
Yeah,
out." And
because it's goofy because he watches that happen. He watches them freaking out, and I was like, maybe you could argue that they were super far away on the plane that he couldn't hear Alex yelling about the plane going to explode, that he couldn't hear it. Because I'm like,
Mhm.
he's had a premonition. If he heard somebody yelling like that, he'd be like, oh hell no, we're getting off this plane. It's happening to him too. But he had to
Yeah,
wait until it was too late for them to get off the plane to be like, hey, what was that all about? Like, oh, he said the
yeah,
plane's gonna explode, which
and
is
then
a nightmare.
and then, and then the plane blows up. Actually, Molly gets diced in half by the tail fin,
Yeah.
and Sam ends up getting the death that Alex
The
should have
fire to the
gotten.
face, yeah.
Fire to the
Fireface.
face. But Death, in his neat and efficient way, was able
Mm-hmm.
to plan the trajectory of the debris
Yep.
to land perfectly on Nathan because Nathan found out that unfortunately Roy was actually a dead man walking and that he
Uh,
actually could have died anytime because he had himself like I think he had a blood clot in his brain or
yeah, he
something
had a
like
blood
that,
clot in his brain, so it's like, well, you got to skip your turn, but all you got was what he had left, which
which was not
wasn't
much.
not much more time. So I thought that was great that they like specified like not only do you get skipped, you get to take their time, which you don't know how much time that is. So I would still say that's a worse fate because now you have an unknown amount of time. You don't know when that person was supposed to die. And now you're constantly paranoid looking over your shoulder, like, when am I going to die now?
Yeah. Oh my God. It's such a great capper to it. And unlike Final Destination 4, nailed it on the final 3D shot where this time
Yeah.
actually even did it better than Jaws 3D when Jaws 3D had a disembodied arm coming into the frame.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one did it right.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
everything with the 3D was, I think it looked a lot better. I think they used a lot less of it, which is helpful. But even without your
Yeah.
3D effects, I wasn't taken out of the movie by any of them. You could tell a couple of times where I'm like, that was a shot that was meant to be in 3D because it's coming right at the camera, even when he's just putting the spike rotisserie tray back into the oven, you can tell that was like a 3D moment, but it's like I didn't get
Yeah.
taken out of it because of that. Like it didn't look
Yeah, neither did
terrible.
I. Yeah, neither did I when I was watching the movie. I actually many times forgot, oh yeah, this was meant to be in 3D because I kept thinking that it
Hmm.
wasn't that I kept forgetting. And I was like, no,
Yeah,
this movie
the
works.
moments would remind me, but I was like, it didn't look terrible, so I didn't mind it
Yeah,
at all.
absolutely. All right. So uh I guess a good way to kind of now we're at the end, so let's go ahead and wrap this one up. So go ahead and give me now, as you remember previously, we did our top premonition kill and then we did our top actual kill. So go ahead and give me your both on those.
Premonition kill, I'm gonna go with the rebar pipes flying through Peter because it's been referenced in other Final Destinations over and over for a reason. Just the amount of damage that they do through his whole body coming through the back of him like that. You didn't even see it coming. The eyeball, very specifically, the damage to
Yeah.
his face, and just the terror of that. So it's the pipes for me.
Yeah. That one would definitely be my pick, but I would agree with that. But my honorable mention would actually have to go to Olivia. Just because again, now I've heard of people, falling from that height and dying on impact in the water, but I have heard of people surviving. So there was that wonderful little thing where I'm like, oh, is she actually gonna make
Yeah,
it
when
through?
she fell, I was like, I think she could survive that, but a death is not having that.
Yeah, and very clearly did not because it dropped a damn car on top of her. So it's like,
And have a car.
yeah, it's like, oh, you know what would have really made me happy was if at some point she alluded to the fact that, oh man, I've always wanted to have this kind of car, and then it's that model car
Sure. Have
that would,
it.
yeah, have it. There you go. I would love that.
Like if it
That would
was a
be
Ferrari, oh,
so
that would have been funny.
fucking funny. I would have loved
Oh my
that.
gosh.
All right, I have a feeling we may agree on the actual kill, but go ahead and give me yours.
I don't know because we didn't touch on it so much, and it's a good segue from what you just said. I like Olivia's kill the best.
Oh, really?
Because, yeah, because
Okay.
the eyes skis people out. Anything having to do with cutting, burning, stabbing eyes is a big issue.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that death scene plays on that fear of eye surgery, even though it's not that terrifying in real life. People don't want lasers touching their eyes. And with that scene having like not only it was slow, like she gets burnt on the eye, like it's held open for so long when he's trying to adjust that machine and do all that, and you just feel the uncomfortableness of her holding her eye open so wide like that, not being able to blink. Then he fucking leaves, and when it starts
Yeah.
burning her, like it burned, you can see the damage in her eye, and then it just continues to burn her, and then, the very last thing you see is her eye getting run over on the street. So it's just
Yeah.
Olivia just can't get a break.
And as a fun, wacky coincidence, it's the same eye that got pulled out of the teddy bear that she had.
Yes, yes, the eye that made her trip and fall out the window. But
Yeah.
gosh, even if she survived that scene, the amount of I don't think she'd ever be able to see out that eye again, first of all. But
Hmm.
that's some ow. Ow.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, actually, well, okay. Well, in that case, since you picked Olivia, I'm just for everything we've already said, but I'm just going to give it to Candace's death just because it's such a great build up, and this one is one where even with the screw on the beam, even then you're wondering, at the most, the worst that's probably going to happen is that you're probably just going to fall on her back and
Yeah,
just
it'll
fall
hurt.
off, which it'll
Yeah.
hurt, but yeah, I can't imagine that killing her in any way. So it's like, where are we going with this? It's
Hmm.
like you just keep resting your brain, trying to rack your brain, trying to figure out where are we going with this. But then just when she gets off the beam and that the screw seems to be like in like nothing.
Yeah.
I
Like
love how
there has to be a reason that's still sitting there.
yeah, exactly. You think, and your brain is so focused on Candace that you don't think about the possibility that that screw is
Somebody
going to be
else will
affecting
cause her
someone else.
death. Because
Yeah,
I don't know if there's a lot of deaths in Final Destination where somebody else was like the cause of it.
we'd have to like really scrutinize that and really kind of break that down. But yeah, that's like, yeah, that's that is kind of well. I mean, there was that water tub death in the fourth one, which happened because of stupid shit happening up above. That
True, true.
yeah, but
Yeah.
nowhere near as awesome as this one, where literally
Right.
you're just and there's so many other ways the person could die doing gymnastics, but you don't expect it to be something so simple.
And they kept showing like, the screw falling out of the beam that she was, doing her routine on, and I'm like, that didn't even have anything to do with it. It was just because she was
Yeah,
blinded and let go at the wrong time. It's like there's so
yeah,
much, and the electricity on the ground and like the dangerous dripping water, like that, all it was a red herring. None of that even led to anything. It was that
exactly.
screw and the wind.
Yeah. So yeah, that it's just so simple, but yet so effective. And even better, it just happens so spontaneously this is one of those things where I wish I yeah, this is my regret. It's the fact that I did not this is why I have so much regrets about my life as a horror fan that I didn't fall in love with this stuff sooner, that I could have jumped on this in the theater because I would have loved to have been in a full theater
Oh
watching
yeah.
this happen because I'm sure the
Oh yeah.
reaction would have been like nice and
Lots of
vocal.
gasps.
Yeah, I bet. That's so good. So, all right. But as a nice little lead into our next one. So all we got left now is Final Destination Bloodlines, and I'm kind of raring to jump into that.
I'll
So let's
say,
go
and
ahead and
you
wrap.
did get to see that in theaters, so hell yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah, and I am raring to talk about that. So let's go ahead. So as our final wrap up, have you for our random recommendations? It actually has been a while, so have you seen anything in the interim? It's
Um,
been months, so
I have a very specific movie that I want to recommend because I want to give it more love. It's a movie starring Shawnee Smith that's called The Other, and
oh,
it's only on demand, so you can get it on Fandango or Apple TV or whatever. It's not really streaming anywhere, which is why nobody knows it exists. And it doesn't get a lot of love, but it's a very unhinged and very, very shocking moments involving the horrors of childbirth.
oh really?
Mhm.
Oh, is Shawnee doing it? Oh man,
Well, she's a side
I got.
character, but she's
Oh,
a
she's a side
very
character.
she's a very a foul-mouthed mother of a special needs child who sees the dead.
Yeah, gotcha. I'll have to hunt that one down. Um, well, now as far as now, I have actually. Well, I mean, recently, of course, actually, as of recording, I just did a interview with actress Rebecca Kennedy about Traumatica 2, and but I've already talked great. But even then, Traumatica right now is on demand. Profound, like it's a film that creeped me out when I went to go see it as I said in that interview, I went to go see it in an empty theater late at night. Walking out of that theater made me feel uneasy. But recently, I actually did get a chance to finally watch High Tension.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it dropped on Shudder, and like when it comes to the French extremity movement, people there's like a holy trinity, Martyrs, Inside, and this one,
Hmm.
but many people credit High Tension with kind of kicking off the French extremity movement.
Yeah.
And I finally did sit down and watch this movie. And speaking of movies with notorious twists, which unfortunately got ruined for me, um, yeah, this is a twist that for the most part is pretty well executed. I will say though,
There's definitely some loopholes in it that I don't love,
there
but
there are some well, there's only one major thing I gotta ask is like, is where the hell did you get the truck?
hmm.
That's my big one. Where the hell did you get the truck?
Yeah, and I think I have to watch it again, but I know there's definitely a scene where somebody like even addresses her, and I was like, you're not supposed to be there, so.
Yeah. I don't know, but actually, and it may just be because I watched Martyrs and Inside. I was able to handle High Tension pretty well. Like I didn't
Yeah.
actually have too much of a problem with that. And not only that, actually, no, even not only those movies, but even Terrifier, especially Terrifier 3. Art the Clown in just the first 5 minutes of Terrifier 3 pretty much did worse than
Mhm.
anything that was done in High Tension.
Oh,
So
sure, yeah. I mean, I would never say that it's an overly gruesome, violent movie or anything. I the story is so fascinating to me.
yeah. So yeah, but even then, but I have no regrets. In the end, it's still an insanely well-directed film. The acting is still really freaking great.
Mm.
Alexander Aja, well, and I will say this, Alexander Aja, after he did this movie, has done incredible work afterwards. I mean, of course, actually, I think right after this is when he did the Hills Have Eyes remake, which I know I've recommended to you, and I told you how great it was. He did Crawl, and then he did Piranha 3D, and and most recently did the awesome, severely underrated Never Let Go with
Oh,
Halle Berry. So
cool.
very underrated film.
Nice.
So No, but I still dug the film, and honestly, I have no problem watching it again. It's better than I expected.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right. Okay. No if, answer, buts. Everyone, join us next week. We are going to be talking Final Destination Bloodlines, and we are eager. We have been bottling it up for months. We have to talk about it. So, no ifs, ands, or buts. If you wish to delve into the dark bowels of human imagination, ask yourself the simple question: what's in the podcast? See, I'm so excited I botched the outro. Damn it.
Thank you for joining us on this edition of What's in the Podcast. If you find yourself hungry for more deep cuts into the gloriously morbid and macabre, you can also find us on TikTok, Blue Sky, and YouTube at Narcotic Casserole. You can also follow us on Instagram at Narcotic Casserole 25. Follow us if you dare.